inside is the seal that we previously created, slid inside around the corner. And with the new Marmon bands, they have a spot, a new hole on them, which allows you to place a zip tie, which allows you to pre-tension everything, so then you can just tie it easier. You just want to place these in line and any two binding together right on the cut down box, the one with two holes. And then you want to place your fitted balloon end adapter onto the seal, at least somewhat directly in the center. And then you can actually start tightening these to however tight you want it, which I recommend just within like a 3/4 of an inch between each one. Which, once this is on, it's far easier to do the tying since it'll hold itself on without any intervention or other hands needed. So you can normally do this with pliers or something, but in the field, I normally use my own just multi-tool since it's smaller and more convenient.
Tie before you do that next
one. Right. And then you also want to do it on the front one, which is different from the previous Marmon bands, since you would only have string through here and you'd have to tighten it using the string. But with these Marmon bands, you can actually tighten it with the zip tie preemptively and then just cut the zip tie once it's done, since it's offset from the actual string hole. So it should not damage the actual string, which, yeah, perfect. So now that everything's tightened to how you want it, you can freely move this around. It should stay completely in your hold, so you can have it connect to the balloon, keep the balloon safe, and now you're free to tie everything. To tie the actual cut down unit, you do need to pull up on the TPU tabs to first unlock it on one axis, which this is currently a work in progress, but you can now just pull upwards, which will also pull out the aluminum pins, which will now free the box, which houses your actual cut down unit. Keep in mind the actual direction it is so you don't pull the rope through. I recommend keeping it in the same plane. Cut down unit. I would recommend to not forget to place in the actual batteries into the unit itself. 2 lithium AA batteries. You can tell that it's functioning when you flip it over, and on the thin plastic you'll see a glowing green. This may be difficult to see in the sunlight, so you may have to cup your hands around it and check. And then you can continue. You know, perfection takes time. But man, my hands jitter a lot. You think they wouldn't, but I'm like an old man. Maybe I need to get like a 401k set up, like a better one.
So let me just show that. Thanks. So I got the strings through the inner holes in the Marmon bands, then wrapped around the knob and through the top of the cut down box.
Correct. Make sure that they stay on each side of the knob.
This is with 3 feet of nano cord total.
Bingo. And then while you're here, you can make sure it's aligned perfectly. Make sure these are good and equal in length. There we go. Equal. I can go through the top. Both of these. Box. Pull it through so it won't fall out. Make sure these are kind of in line just because it's easier to work with. Under one, over the others, under the last one. I should probably move it sideways so I don't accidentally pull anything I shouldn't. There we go. It's under, just not perfectly in position to go through the hole. And you can just kind of shift it like that, yoink, yoink. Oh, and there we go. One is through how it's supposed to be. Almost, you may have to nudge that. There should be a guide. There we go. One is in properly. The other one needs to be guided through the same path. just as such. It's quite difficult. There we go. Another one's mostly through. Now we just need to make it get through the exit, which is quite interesting. And then bing, boom. And make sure that these aren't on top of the screws in there in the center. And then that is properly placed in. Now we can actually place this into the wish I could make these not fluffy. There we go. One through the bottom. Oh no. There we go. Both through the bottom. Now the door can be placed on. And again, make sure that the string inside doesn't get tangled. Place it in as such. Make sure the doors align properly. There we go. Make sure you pull on the string as you bring it through the door, just to make sure. Push downwards and then in. And it's locked. Now you can enter in the pins. One pin. The other pin. And then you can place on the TPU retainer. Tip it forward so it can fall into the actual grooves that are on the sides. Place it down. Make sure it's actually in the grooves here. That's it. And there we go. One. And the same can be done over here. And then nice press in the front. You'll hear 2 clicks from it actually moving over some extrusions. And now you can actually do the knot on the rear to make sure that this does not get pulled out once you actually cut the tensioning zip tie. Make sure they're equal. And then you're going to want to go around 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Any more is nice if you want to. It's not really needed. And then once it's done, you want to place your left hand over the right, bring it up and through, tie, and then you want to bring your right over your left and do another. And then you can repeat that a few times. Left over right. Right over left. And it's almost fully tied right now. And like that, it is fully tied. And all you need to do now is cut this final band with a cutty thing. And make sure you don't touch that with anything sharp in case of damaging it. And you should be able to just cut straight through this. And now you can remove this and it's tensioned properly. And now you can actually launch.